Clever hands. The concept of introversion, extroversion, has been around for hundreds of years. One of the first modern psychologists to get excited about the subject was Carl Gustav Jung, who lived at the same time as Sigmund Freud and liked to argue with him. But it was Hans Eysenck, 1916 to 1997, who shined the bright sunlight of scientific research on introverts and extroverts. Fortunately, they did not burn up under his magnifying glass like ants on the sidewalk, but yielded lots of interesting information. What Hans discovered with his many experiments was that the brain and nervous system were all born with varies a huge amount in how much stimulation it likes. At one extreme, you've got people who come into this world determined to avoid a ruckus at all costs. The nervous systems are easily overstimulated. Those people grow up to become librarians, always shushing patrons who whisper, scratch themselves, or drop their Kleenex. People born at the other extreme would, if they could, come out of their mothers' tummies with boom boxes pressed to their little ears. They can't get enough stimulation. These people grow up to become car dealers who do their own commercials, standing there jabbing their pointing finger at you with every word they say and talking in a very loud and excited voice. There's probably a bit more variety than that, but you get the idea. Between these two extremities lie the rest of us. About 70% of us live on the extrovert side of the line, and the rest are slight to severe introverts. If you are an introvert, you are probably wondering if extrovert should be spelled extrovert. Either way is fine. Try to relax. Bottom line, when Hans Eysenck talked about introverts and extroverts, he was talking about how we're wired. Turns out, it's one of the most important things to know about yourself if you want to be happy. As noted earlier, Squidward Tentacles is an introvert, an extreme one. How, you say, can a gourmet cook and clarinetist be an introvert? With rare exceptions, Squidward cooks and plays the clarinet only for himself, and not because no one else could stand the screeching. Enter Mr. Krabs, owner of the Krusty Krab Diner, which serves Krabby Patties, the cannibalistic implications of which are another story. Suffice it to say, Mr. Krabs hired Squidward to squid the counter of his diner, where the show's extras shamble up to place their orders. The extras are mostly goofy-looking fish, with an occasional crustacean or mammal thrown in. Krabs hired Squidward for this job not because Squid is a people-loving extrovert, but because there are only so many characters in the show, and since Spongebob is the fry cook, Squidward has to field the orders. It might work better if the extroverted Sponge were to work the counter and Squidward the grill, but it wouldn't bring nearly as many laughs. Squidward's surly and dismissive attitude toward his customers and the little digs with which he disses them. No one gets these bon mots because no one much listens to Squid, are an obvious sign of the poor cephalopod's crying need to be alone, like the writer Flaubert, in a completely white room with his head wrapped in white towels to keep out the noisy and distracting world. Note how the sarcastic remarks, anger, tip us off to the fear beneath of being overwhelmed by noisy, breathing reality, much of which is too real for Squidward. What lessons are in this for us? Assuming we are among the rare geniuses who can let something be a lesson to us. First, in your approach to handling fear, it's important to know whether you are an introvert or an extrovert. Do you like to be alone with your thoughts a lot? Do the little tags they put in underwear chafe you? Would you rather read a Patrick O'Brian novel than ride the high seas in a three-masted man-o'-war? Do you know if your socks are on the wrong feet? You're an introvert, my friend. Do you play the radio or TV when you're alone in the house? Do you like to go to 4-hour meetings at work where everyone tries to talk at once and there's at least one spitty fight? Can you sleep through a 2 a.m. party in the next apartment where rejects from Animal House sing 99 bottles of beer on the wall at the top of their lungs? Do you think roller coasters are great fun? Did you fail to notice how extrovert was spelled and couldn't care less? You, my friend, are an extrovert. Thankfully, most of us are somewhere in between. But, bottom line, the more introverted you are, that is, the more sensitive to the stimulations of life, the more easily chafed, startled, and generally fearful you will be.